and he saw it.
These are our community vote numbers. You see MOHAMED Light at 59, maybe the lowest percentage that he's gotten all weekend long, and 41, definitely the lowest we have seen for Morten. But those numbers don't actually give us the results. We got another game to play in our first set at least.
Yes, at least one more game, and if Morten can send this to game number 3, obviously things get very interesting.
Yes.
But if Mo shuts this down right here, that is, as you said before, a huge blow to the confidence and a huge rise for Mo, who's had to fight through so much today.
Yeah, and the crowd, I think, having a difficult time deciding who do they cheer for. Mo. Both of them have had uproarious applause every single time they place a rocket, they place a unit, they do anything, they breathe. But now, having to decide between one of the GOATs and maybe the GOAT.
Let's go ahead and jump into game number 2 right now. Tornado out on both sides. Lightning gone for Morten, so do we see Archer Queen out of MOHAMED Light?
And I like that Morten's going faster and looser, and it does look like the rich AQ Royal Hog cycle. Maybe Morten could possibly still be playing Drill, and there it is. Drill comes down.
And it is the Archer Queen for MOHAMED Light, so solid pick there with the Lightning no longer available for Morten.
And a great log.
Very, very pretty. That does not get the payoff from it, but did force out extra elixir. Now we are even in the hole on both sides and fairly even on damage as the first minute passes.
Stop and stare here. A reset as they tick to 10. Fire Spirit in one direction. Morten setting up for a bigger push on the other side, but is going to have to defend. And he has the bomb tower again. He has had the bomb tower for Royal Hogs a couple times this weekend, and he's got to be happy about that.
What I don't expect here is to see MOHAMED Light have the same timing issues we saw with Samwell in the winner's bracket final, where Morten was able to get those drills on tower, get those goblins on tower. You just got to expect that Mo's going to be dialed in here.
As I said about Mo's micro, with the skellies, with the Fire Spirit, with the delivery, with the log.
Oh my word. The timing on that play, I know it seems so small, but to actually get that Fire Spirit at the exact right time to take 0 damage and create the counter pressure, that is like a microsecond window.
I think the bigger story there, Rich, is it shows that he has the confidence to pull it off, but no Fire Spirit in hand for the delivery, and all that beautiful play goes out the window.
We have seen some stunning plays this weekend. The great King Tower activation against Mortar, that little technique that we just saw right there, and man, I bet we're in for a few more right now.
Fire Spirit does not get the lead that it wants. Morten now can double down on the pressure. Delivery has to go to the back, which means Skelly's log, and the Skellies go up high. Log is too early. Cannon will come in.
Wow, able to hold on just by a hair is MOHAMED Light, 25-35 to 20-97, as we are just 35 seconds away from sudden death.
And Morten turning up the pressure. Log for the spears, delivery for the mighty, and an AQ to catch, but still damage in.
Just keeps on getting it done right here. Mo having a lot of difficulty. He doesn't have any phenomenal on-the-ground response to that drill. Nothing like a Dark Prince or a Valkyrie, so he's forced to rely on just those specific counters over and over and over again, and the timing just gets stretched thin.
Mo goes for a 1-3 split with those piggies as that bat connects, pulls them all to one side so he can deal with the Archer Queen on her own. Log catches the Skellies, and now Mo needs to spend an arm and a leg.
10-10 on the left-hand side. The lead keeps on opening up for Morten. This plays the Spear Goblins on the left to control against that recruit.
I don't know the last time a drill wasn't on the board here for Morten, as Mo struggles to deal with the timing this time. Perfect, 3 elixir for 4. Morten up by 3. And a lot in damage.
And he's just trying to get Morten to spend in this right-hand side. Mo does not want to play on the left at all. Bomb tower in with the EQ trying to take it off the board. Not going to get much here, though.
Morten decides not to pull the ability, knowing that that Archer Queen is coming down the lane. Mighty Might are going to do a good job dealing with it. Maybe he pops it late here to get some damage in. No, he does not.
Almost got that last last stab. Fireball this time, plus bats, and that's some great variation on the defense from Morten as we are just 5 seconds from triple elixir.
And while that happens, the spears connect on the left side, adding more damage in. Skelly's missed the log misses the Skellies, but the Goblin gets on the tower again. Morten evens things up. He is 1 game away from being world champion.
This game 3 is going to be intense. We've now seen 2 games in a row where one player was in complete control. Do we get an even fight here in game number 3, or does someone grab fate by the neck?
We gotta find out in just a couple of minutes, but Morten going fast and loose. It's his way to go. He loves wall breakers, he loves drill, he loves bait, he loves the outplay ability. And when you talk about that pull on that bomb tower, I bet you Julesy is patting himself on the back right now.
Yeah, bomb tower was a great pick there, and of course the variation at the end to go with the fireball and the bats. You know, that's one of the most key things. I know we have people of all skill levels watching this competition today, and one of those big notes, you're seeing it here a lot this weekend, varying up your defense so they can't predict it. Morten just showed you that basic idea at the biggest level.
That is one of the biggest things about Morten. I've been watching him for year after year after year. It's almost like his brand. I never defend the same way, and then when I do, you don't think I'm going to because of those mind games that he's always got in effect. It's so scary when you try to predict stuff against Morten because he changes it up so often, but sometimes you gotta go for those swings because it's the only way to catch back up.
You know, I know that game 2 was all about Morten with that win. I have to go back to that Fire Spirit play from MOHAMED Light. The timing on that is so insanely small. To be able to pull that off here on this stage in that moment, I mean, I've drilled that technique over and over and over again, and I only land it maybe 15% of the time.
And what I was saying in the moment that it happens is it shows Mo's confidence in the moment, on the biggest stage, in the biggest matchup of his career, or I guess, you know, tied for biggest matchup in his career. But to be able to pull that off just shows where he's dialed in. But the problem is that he did not have the Fire Spirit, and he missed the easier interaction on top of that drill, and he took a lot of damage for it. And you saw there for Morten almost gaining confidence every single time, and those spear goblins to jab over and over and over, it just added frustration to MOHAMED Light.
Those spears were absolutely massive, lots of pressure from them throughout for only 2 elixir, which was absolutely critical. And now they are finishing up their deck picks here, making those choices. And man, I mean, you have a choice right now. If you're MOHAMED Light, it all hangs in the balance. Let's go for possibly our championship point.
For the first time in year after year after year, 4 years for Morten, he finds himself 1 game away from a world championship.
And you hear the Morten cheers from the crowd, and it is Miner. Ice Spirit, and goes Miner right to the back, right out the gate here, knowing again, NATO out of cycle, get that early damage.
You see Morten immediately nodding, maybe Mo going to the Skelly King mortar deck. Still a lot of possibilities out there, but it could be looking like that. And Morten happy with the matchup thus far.
And nice clean defense there. Snowball and Queen take care of business. Mo cycles the Miner in the bottom right corner.
Mortar comes out for MOHAMED Light. One of his strongest win conditions, and a mortar to respond. Rich, double mortar, and maybe our grand finals. I could not have asked for anything else.
Yeah, I know. This is a game played specifically for Andrew Guy. And there you go, the Ice Spirit to kite that mortar opposite direction. Nice pickup by the Skeleton King that will redirect the mortar of Mo onto Morten's left-hand tower.
And that's another shot that will come down, but Morten needing to deal with this right-hand lane. Snowball to keep this giant skeleton alive, and MOHAMED Light in the lead by 300.
And, you know, Mo looks a little bit stressed. He's wearing a little bit of pressure on that face right now. And from Morten's reaction early on, he might be happy here.
90 seconds remain in regulation. MOHAMED Light leaking elixir, which is not something you want to do with this deck. Morten catches.
Wow.
Morten catches. That is a beautiful prediction. Mo gives a little tilt to the head. All right, man, I see you.
Yeah, that Ice Spirit, then the Archer Queen, just keeping that mortar nice and clean. I don't think he'll get it on tower unless the Archer Queen can clear a little bit earlier. Might have room. No, that's going to get off the board.
Still separated by 300, but Morten has the advantage by just about 1.5 or so.
Miner to the front this time. And Mo's just eating a little bit of damage here, gets it off with the snowball, but instead tries to create his own counter push.
Guards to the back, Skelly King up high, snowball to catch, and now Mo trying to get all of his responses out.
This is a significant push here. The poison to try to prevent the Skelly King ability.
He needs to get on the Skelly King.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit late. He's a little late.
That's a ton of damage, Andrew, down to 11-11. And now you see Mohamed Light with the smirk.
Morten setting up that giant skeleton in the back. Does catch with the guards as well. Mohamed Light now firmly in control.
This is what Morten was talking about. Mo does things that are unorthodox that you don't expect. And then instead of playing in that right-hand lane, Mo just goes with kind of a crazy sell on the left-hand side. Opportunistic, takes it by the hand, and now he's in the lead.
Morten misses the timing there on the Ice Spirit. Mortar does not get really any presence on the board, and Mo goes right back to the front of the tower again. Now down below 1,000 HP to 2472.
This is a really big gap to make up in a minor mortar poison fight here, Andrew. This is a huge hill to climb with 2 minutes left.
He needs to get that mortar on tower, but there's almost an impossibility. Mohamed Light, we've seen his sequencing with his units, the drop time, the response, and you see there Skarmy once again putting in work on that right-hand lane.
The high-risk, high-reward play was so huge, and now with 90 seconds left, continuing to add to that lead is Mohamed Light.
I think we're going to a super grand. You can see Morten knowing that this game is slowly slipping away from him. That predictive poison on top of the guards, knowing that's the best response there for Morten. Gets a lot of damage on tower, and now he's back again to another miner on tower.
Morten has to go for something big here. He has to take a crazy sellout play and try to do something unexpected to change this fate.
The problem is, Rich, this is not a deck to make a crazy sellout play with. It's about the miner chip. It's about the mortars getting on a couple times and getting that poison value when you can. It's not one that you can create these big-time hits with.
And now Skelly King to the right-hand side. The mortar down on the left-hand lane, and this is just about it.
We're going to a super grand finals. Poison is in. Miners on tower. Momo takes set number 1. Could you ask for anything else?
Oh my word. And it's just the brilliance of Mohamed Light who's put himself back in this situation. Morten looked good at the start of this game, and now we have to reset and go through all this over one more time.
It was that moment on the left-hand side when Momo baited out the snowball and then piles on with the Skelly King and the Skarmy. And you saw Morten had no response for it. Maybe if he had an E-Spirit, but he had an Ice Spirit. It only takes out a few Skellies, and from that moment, Mo gets the connection, Skellies get on tower, and Morten is playing catch-up for the rest of that game.
And now you have that advantage lost. No more life to live. We are just going, hey, best of 3, winner takes the crown.
And the crown and $250,000. But the most fascinating thing about this, neither of these guys care about the cash. We do, but they do not. They want to be the greatest in the world. Let's throw it over here as we are taking a little break between our super grand reset.
All right, I guess we are not quite ready for that little break yet as we take a shot at the crowd here. You can see a lot of familiar faces in there, some of the biggest content creators from around the world in Clash Royale. We've seen them all talking back and forth, and you see right there, Mohamed Light with his analyst, his coach Jeb, is trying to plan out what they do for their very next matchup. But this place is filled with some of the biggest names in the game.
Absolutely. I mean, if you are a Clash Royale fan, just walking in this room, you're bound to be starstruck at least 15 to 20 times. Legitimately, people I've been watching since I started my career at CRL, including one of the men on stage.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And you saw there Morten and his analyst, Julesy, who was in Mohamed Light's corner last year to kick things off. But now, of course, with Morten, and this has been a battle of the minds. You have to imagine that these 4 guys are all in the war rooms right now trying to get ready for the big one.
And you know that Jebas and Julesy also are always trying to pick each other's